Everybody, hello and welcome back to Politically Black with Zach, where today we are sitting down and talking to my friend, Dionne McGee, who is running to serve DeKalb County as their next state court judge. Dionne, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I am making some time. You look amazing.
Well,
It's one of my favorite colors. I love green, all shades of green.
Yes.
And I'm really thankful, again, that we could sit down and talk about a position that is extremely important, but that a lot of people don't know about.
Yes.
When I saw that there was an open judgeship, it made me really think about and have a lot of questions. This is a seat that's open from Chief Judge Wayne Purdom, right? I have never seen Judge Wayne, thankfully. I have never seen Judge Wayne. I hope to never see any of these judges in my life beyond this opportunity. And it made me think to myself, well, you're here, you're campaigning. I see signs up, you're having events all around the county. Why have I never seen those for Judge Wayne? Like, why don't I even know the name?
Judge Purdom has served the county for 26 years.
26 years.
Yes, prior to that, he was a magistrate court judge, and he has never had opposition. And so that's probably why you haven't seen his name or seen signs. Attorneys don't run against judges typically. It's almost an unspoken rule in the legal field, unless, there's some type of controversy or something, which rarely ever happens. And so, but he has been a phenomenal judge, a judge's judge, very, very intelligent. Learned a lot from him. I've had the opportunity to serve as a prosecutor in front of him for 2 years in his division. So I know him well, and big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill.
Yes.
But you can fill those shoes.
Oh, absolutely.
Why are you running for this opportunity? Like, what makes this the right opportunity for you at this time in your life?
Well, what makes it the right opportunity is that I have done the work in the community. And I think it's important that we have judges who are connected to the community. I'm a daughter of DeKalb with a legacy of service. And that legacy of service extends through my family, through 3 generations of family members who have been serving through the community, not as elected officials, but through the community, DeKalb County, in a number of ways. And so I've decided to run because I want to instill more trust from the community in the judicial system. And, I've been both a prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney. So I understand what crime looks like in DeKalb County. And I understand that a lot of people want to see that crime gets better and that we become a safer environment for our children, for our family, for our businesses. And I understand that on the state court level, that is where we can make the biggest difference and the biggest impact. And it's primarily because this is where most individuals, most offenders enter the criminal justice system, is on the misdemeanor level as opposed to the felony level in Superior Court. So once if you're robbing a store or, charged with aggravated assault, shooting someone, your hands are kind of tied as a judge because there are strict sentencing guidelines that you have to abide by. In the state court, if this is your first time entering the system for being charged with a misdemeanor, there are things that we can do to make sure we get you back on the right track to close that revolving door to the criminal justice system.
And that's a real issue. And there are a lot of people who are very focused on social justice issues and criminal justice reform. And you made a really great point about there are things that you can do in that position as a judge to help get someone on the right track. And we look at all of the young people that are committing misdemeanors, who are making choices, not great choices, that land them in front of you when you are going to sit in this seat, replacing Judge Purdom. What are some things that you can do for a young person who's committed a misdemeanor that can help reset their journey?
So, for example, a lot of young people make mistakes, right? Now, as a judge, I obviously have to hold them accountable for their criminal behavior, but I am a big supporter of rehabilitation programs that help get to the root cause of the issue. A lot of times people, whether they're young or my age or older and they're committing crimes, it might be because of a certain issue or a challenge that they're having, whether it's alcohol or drug abuse, whether it's mental health challenges or homelessness. There are programs and opportunities for those individuals to get the help that they need so that they won't commit those crimes again. And so because I've been in the community for so long, there are relationships that I have with individuals and organizations that I can pull in to help address those issues and get those people back on the right track.
And I think that's really important. I think that having representation across the system also makes a really big difference. So when you talk about why this opportunity is right for you, I want to know, why are you right for this opportunity? Because the people of DeKalb County are going to have some choices on election day, and it'll be probably some hard choices to make. Why are you the right choice?
Well, because I have the professional and life experience to do the job. On the professional side, I have been both a prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney. So I've seen it on both sides. I've been on both sides of the courtroom, and so I would not be a one-sided judge. A lot of our judges either have one or the other, and they don't have both. So that's one thing. I will be fair and impartial and really, really focus on getting to the heart of the issue. The second reason is life experience and the community work that I've done. You, as a judge, you got to understand the people that are coming through that door. You got to understand, the communities that they come from, the challenges that they may have. And the only way you can do that is being out there with the people, being able to listen to their concerns, being able to hear what they're going through, what their family members may be going through, so you can have a better understanding and have kind of a holistic pattern of thinking as you're adjudicating a lot of these cases.
I think that what you do is extremely hard. It is not something I could ever do or ever want to do. As someone with a lot of convictions about a whole lot of things, I could never be on either side. I could not defend, nor could I fairly prosecute, because I would forever be torn with having probably already come to a really hard conclusion in my mind.
Yes.
How do you balance it? How do you remain objectively fair in these cases to do the hard work of being an attorney and then now getting ready to become a judge?
It's all about focus and always having a driven purpose to do the right thing. And so whether I am prosecuting a case and trying to make a decision about how we're going to move forward and whether we even need to move forward and what sentencing looks like and what recommendations I need to make to the court, I need to do what's right. And that's always been a part of who I am and what I base my life on. And then on the other side of that is just knowing that people are depending on you. Representation matters. One of the reasons why I decided to go into the field of law, one of the reasons why I decided to be a judge, is so that the person on the other side that's looking up at me knows that at the very least they see somebody that looks like them, right? The legal profession is still a very white male-dominated profession. And even though we're in Atlanta, there's Atlanta, and then there's Georgia and the rest of the country. And so, I always lean back to, my ancestors, and the things that my grandmother and my grandfathers have taught me. And it's always to, when you're doing your work, have a purpose and always strive to do the right thing.
You talk about focus, and there's so many traits and characteristics that you have that make you successful as an attorney, and then that will make you successful as a judge. What is the number one characteristic that you lean into the most that you feel is key to your success in this field?
Treat everybody with kindness and respect. I mean, relationships matter, and relationships are everything. And so although it's an adversarial process when we go inside the courtroom, you're trying to win your case for your client, or if you're prosecutor for the state and that victim who has been violated, it's all about the respect that's given to the other side. And I think that's why I've been successful as an attorney. When I decided to go in private practice after being a prosecutor, it was a very easy transition. I had a number of defense attorneys come to my aid, give me direction, serve as mentors to help me build my practice. And that just comes from just developing those relationships and being a kind person. And I always tell people, especially young lawyers that I mentor, listen, at the end of the day, you still need to be able to shake that person's hand. You need to be able to look in the mirror at yourself and know that you treated somebody with integrity, that you've been respectful, and that the next day you can go back in the courtroom and do the exact same thing, because it's going to further your career in the long run.
I think that's a word. I think that's a great word. We talked about what we can do, or what you can do in your position to benefit young people that have kind of gotten off track. Do you have any like success stories, not with any specifics per se, but just scenario or situational stories, or an example that you can share of how things worked right? Like so often when we think about the criminal justice system, we're thinking about getting crime under control, getting people off the streets. People aren't thinking about rehabilitation or second chances or turning lives around. Can you give us an example of how the system worked right to take someone's life and make it better?
So a couple of things. So I am a past president of the DeKalb Lawyers Association, which is the minority bar association in DeKalb County. And when I was president, there was one thing that I wanted to bring to the table, and that is us going into the schools, going into the classrooms, and getting to these young people. And one of the ways that we did that was a conference that we started called Teens Talk Back. So many times it says, your parents growing up, stop talking back to me. You can't do. So I wanted to do a play off of talking back. A lot of times we have programs or we have, these wonderful professional people who sit on the panel and all of the students, they just sit there and listen. Well, this conference gave them the opportunity to have a better voice. And we brought in prosecutors, we brought in defense attorneys, we brought in judges to just listen to the things that they had to say. And it was very moving. I still hear from a lot of those students even to this day. Some of them have even gone on to go to law school. And it's just been very impactful. I've also been a mock trial coach. So in Georgia, there's a Georgia mock trial program where you have high school students who have a desire to go into the legal field and they compete. And so that has been an opportunity to pull people who may not have had the opportunity to be engaged in the legal field, who, may not be on the right track, and to really direct them. And so that has also been a great opportunity. And then I worked alongside as a prosecutor with the police department and their youth programs, and just, doing my part to educate young people to get them on the right track. So those are just some few examples of some success stories.
You brought up an old school memory. So shout out to Barbara Rosalino, Chase Collum as a former student. She was a teacher, mock trial coach, Nina Kendall mock trial. All the people that have done mock trial, at Eagles Landing High School and schools in Henry County. Those babies used to stay in that school from 3:30 when school was dismissed until 9 o'clock at night, getting ready for mock trial. And it was just massive amounts of work, but it always paid off. And shocking, there's so many of those children who are now attorneys from that experience. It was their passion, and that continued to ignite that passion and showed them that, and gave them connections to people in the field for later in their life. So I'm glad you reminded me of that. We need to see more mock trial work in all of our DeKalb County schools. So that's a charge to all of us to advocate for that. And I know some high schools don't participate. We need every school to participate.
Absolutely.
Because it's great opportunities, for the children. So that's wonderful. Another question I have is, what about things that we can do as a society to help young adults who have gone from misdemeanor to felony, and they now have this mark on their record, and they're facing doors closed because of their actions in some cases, and then in some cases facing doors closed from a system that didn't give them a fair chance?
Mentorship. We need more mentors. I mean, bottom line is you have a lot of people who are doing really good things, and many of them may have been on that same track growing up. And so you have a lot of organizations, shout out to our Divine Eye organizations, because they are a lot of times the ones that are leading the pack. But we need more mentors. And that's not just for young men, but that's for young women too, because we do have women who are caught up in the criminal justice system. And so mentorship is everything. And all it takes is one, and take a little time to reach back and give of your time to help a young person. It's very impactful.
That is a profound statement, and I agree. I think that's a big part, and it only takes one mentor for one person to help them transform and change their lives, and it also takes sometimes that one good judge to sit on that bench, and to rule fairly, objectively, and really have a chance to turn the course of someone's life in the right direction. Thank you so much for for your time and for being with us. Before we conclude, I want to know, for people who are watching this and who are now excited to support you, how can they help you win this seat?
Get the word out. That's the biggest thing. So my website is DionneMcGee.com. I'm also on social media as Dionne McGee 24. Please follow me. We need volunteers. And even if you don't live in DeKalb and you don't have time, we need phone banking volunteers. So that's something that you can do from home very easily. We have a training coming up April 6th and 7th. I'm more than happy to send information out about that. But yes, the biggest thing is just share this information with your friends and family, even if you don't think they will even if they don't vote, encourage them to vote. Hopefully they're registered to vote, and that judges matter. I mean, everyone is, I get it. People, want to know about the president and governor and the mayor. I understand. But judges matter. Your local races are so important because that is where the biggest impact takes place. So,
and you're looking at a decision that could be a 26-year decision.
Exactly.
Again, congratulations to Chief Judge Wayne Purdom for his time on the bench, for his service to people of DeKalb County. But again, people really don't challenge the incumbent.
Yes.
So once you get this seat, you vote for this seat one time. It may be your only time to vote for that within a whole quarter of your life.
Right.
So that's something to think about.
Yes.
Dionne, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having
pleasure.
me. This has been fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.